everybody, Precious here, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm here with Pablo at the beach. It's such a beautiful day, and today we wanted to have a picnic and talk about some of the Spanish customs here and something that we learned and new experiences when we moved here to Spain.
That's it, everybody. Ooh, fancy life. Play.
Ooh.
Fancy play. Mandarin. More Mandarin. And more Mandarin. it's true. And more. Oh fuck, it's so much Mandarin for my grapes for me. Woo. That's it.
Okay.
That's it, everybody.
Okay, good. Oh, Jesus.
Sorry, you has a big Mandarin.
Ay, qué loco. Es cierto.
Okay.
Me encanta. Okay, anyway, go.
Okay. Hola nuevamente, ¿cómo están? Hola, soy Pablo.
Pablo.
No, soy Pablo. No, hoy vamos a hablarles, como dijo Precious, bienvenido nuevamente a un nuevo video. Hoy vamos a hablar sobre algunas costumbres que hemos aprendido. No hemos aprendido, algunas costumbres que hemos...
Diferentes.
Diferentes costumbres aquí en España.
Porque somos de países diferentes.
Yeah.
Soy de los Estados Unidos.
Y yo soy de Guatemala.
Y en realidad la vida en España es súper diferente de mi cultura.
And my culture.
Ok, culture, good job.
What else?
Y so vamos, ok, so ¿qué tal tu primera experiencia aquí en España? Like tus expectations versus like la realidad. What did you think about coming here? And then
God,
what is something shock when you first got here? Like your first experience.
Ok, cuando vine acá, vine en plena pandemia, 2021, vine acá sin conocer a nadie. Como saben, vine acá a estudiar, venimos a estudiar cocina. Me vine en plena pandemia, como les dije. Bueno, tenía muchas expectativas de España, Europa, vida loca, nada de
Fancy.
Interesante, fue un cambio de 360 grados en mi vida, porque yo vengo de un lugar literalmente muy diferente. Hablo español, obviamente, pero acá también hablan español, pero usan muchas palabras muy diferentes a las que yo estoy acostumbrado. Por ejemplo, yo tengo muchas palabras que usaba mucho, pero aquí no las puedo usar porque nadie me entiende. Por ejemplo, con nuestro jefe compartimos muchas palabras y él se mata de la risa cuando le digo, nosotros le llamamos así. ¡Qué divertido! Sometimes, but it's so funny.
What is something, okay, so like the language definitely is super different for you. Was there anything else that when you got here, you're like, whoa, this is so different, like I'm not used to this, it like blew your mind? Maybe like the first couple of weeks, at least for me, was like super incredible. Like I thought it was super weird, but like amazing, like
literally kind of everything because it's so new for me. But Guatemala is different. I'm not from the big city. I'm from a little town, and we don't have a big metro bus. Different things. The money is different.
And the money is different. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we have euro here.
I need to, necesito que sea, okay, déjame contarlo así como que un niño chiquito, déjame contar, okay, cuando the people say, ¿cuánto es? Es 90 céntimos o son 3.70 con de céntimos.
Literally my first couple of days, like I'm like, bro, I'm just stupid, I don't know math. And they're like a number or something, and I look at the little señal, I look at the little sign, and I'm just like, okay, here's all the money, give me back my change. I don't know which it is, but like, okay, wait, I don't really know what you're saying, but I think it's like these.
Es muy diferente, muy diferente todo. Para ella es más fuerte el cambio, aparte que ella solo habla inglés.
When you challenge yourself to move to a new country where you don't really understand the language, but you want to understand the people, the culture, I think the language kind of comes with it, you know? So like there are always going to be people who give you a hard time for not speaking Spanish or for not understanding you. There's always going to be people like that, but there's far more people who are willing to help help you or willing to try to understand you, you know. So
Exactly.
I think that in elements like this, you kind of just need to be patient, not only with like the people around you because you are in their country, but also like with yourself. Because I just remember like my first week here, first off, I was blown away by the buildings. The buildings here are so cool. The architecture is super beautiful. I'm like,
Cierto.
whoa, it is like
Eso
a
también.
different world. Like it was just so, I just remember staring at buildings all day because like in the US, like we have, depending on which state you are from, but I've been to a lot of different states. It's like we have a lot of brick buildings, we have a lot of modern buildings, whatever, but like none of them are like pink with like a pattern print or like neon blue or whatever, and all of them different on the same street, and like all the streets had like an orange blue hue. Everything was just so
Muy colorido.
beautiful. Yeah, I was just
colorido.
blown away by like the colors. I couldn't like believe my eyes, you know, sometimes of this. Oh yeah, I remember like thinking that my high school Spanish and a little bit of college Spanish would get me through because I kind of understood a decent amount, but I just couldn't speak that well. But I'm like, I can order a coffee. And I just remember my very first like day, my second day, I went to this little coffee place and I'm like, oh, you know, like, yo quiero un café con nata. And she's like, oh, so quieres un café con leche? And I'm like, no, yo quiero un café con nata, like with cream, because in the US we have our coffee with cream. We have cream, sugar, whatever. And she goes, oh, so un café con leche, con azúcar. I'm like, no, no quiero azúcar. And she's like, no, but like, I'm like, fuck, I can't order a coffee. Like, I was just like so like stressed out. Because she was like, no, like one milk. And I'm like, no, I don't want milk. I was just so confused. I'm like, I want cream, lady. Like, I don't want milk. Like, you know? Yeah, it was just
Yeah,
so
oh my
funny.
God,
and then
yeah.
I'm like, you know what? No, like, at one point, I'm like, okay, no pasa nada. Like, give me what you want to give me. I will drink whatever.
Oh my
you know?
God, yeah.
That was my
Yeah.
first week. I just remember being shook. I was like so sad because I was like, what the heck? Like, I can't even order a coffee. I'm going to struggle. Like, I didn't even take classes yet, but it was my first couple of weeks just trying to get accustomed to everything. And I just remember like looking for apartments was super hard because like literally I brought a notebook and I wrote down all of my questions in Spanish just in case, because I'm like, okay, how much is the rent? Like how, you know, just writing everything in Spanish and then giving them the paper like this, and they're like, okay, muy bien, and they just told me everything.
Oh my
It
God,
was-
ya me puedo imaginar todo esto.
It's a new experience you can't get back, you know? Like, I'm
No.
so proud I did that because I was terrified. Like, you know, because I feel like when you're at home, you can judge things that
Yeah.
are like safe, peligroso, or like good, bad. You can have a good sense. Everything felt dangerous for me because it was my first time afuera, sola, and this new place. And if I got lost, it's like, well,
continent.
who's going to help, you know? Because also tu móvil does not work until you get a new
Oh my
one.
God, it's
And I did
true.
not know that. Oh my gosh, I did not know that either.
Cierto. Bueno, si yo tuve problemas cuando yo vine, que hablo español. No sé si perfectamente, pero hablo español. Ya, pero vine, literalmente los edificios se parecen mucho. Tienen diferentes colores, pero se parecen mucho. Y vine sin internet, todo estaba cerrado por
Sí.
pandemia.
Sí.
Como que yo quería preguntarle cosas a la gente y así como que asustada se alejaba, no. Y como obviamente aquí literalmente soy extranjero,
Ujú.
aparte de que te miran con tu tono de piel, de tu acento, él no es de aquí, como que
Igual.
con lo que la pandemia como que les entró miedo, y yo que tratando de preguntar, o sea, ayuda. No sé, oh, necesitaba comprar un chip
Ya.
para tener redes y para poder comunicarme, para poder hablar a mi familia, y estoy aquí, estoy a salvo.
Yeah.
Ay, fue un poquito frustrante.
I don't know, it was super difficult at first to try to get help or directions of certain
Yeah.
things, because during the pandemic I remember like they had like a curfew here,
Yeah.
where like all restaurants were closed by 4 or something like that, and after that everything else was just closed. And the thing with Spain is that they already have a siesta from 1, 5 to 6, whatever they want, you know? So it's like, when are you guys open? So like they're open maybe from like noon to 1 o'clock. Something like this, 2 hours. And I just remember
Exactly.
there were so many days where I had jet lag my very first time, so I would wake up in weird times, like 2 p.m. I would go outside, try to see the sunlight, and everything was closed. And I'm like, oh, but I'm so hungry.
What happened
And
here?
There
Eso
is
es
nothing.
cierto.
I thought that was so
Ya,
strange.
es lo
Like,
que no
I
me
could
gusta la
not.
siesta.
Yeah, I could not eat anything for days. And I was so happy that my Airbnb at that time, he was so nice. He put like bread, jam, butter, like things for breakfast. And I literally ate that for like days straight because literally every time I woke up or tried to go out, everything was closed. Or they're like, okay, perdona, we're closed. You can only tomar algo. You can only drink a little something. And I'm like, oh, but like beer will not help me. I need... I need food.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's just a different culture. We have to get used to it. We've been here for a year and, you know, we're learning.
Ya, estamos aprendiendo, bueno, en fin.
Tell me about the supermercados because they're so different than the ones in the US. I think they're super different. But what about you? How do you shop for groceries?
Es muy diferente. Tal vez más adelante le vamos a hacer un video cómo son los supermercados acá y literalmente y cómo son los mercados de la calle. Porque tienen también acá, bueno, depende. En Barcelona yo nunca vi uno, pero no tuve la oportunidad de ir a uno. Pero acá, donde estamos viendo actualmente, los días domingos hay mercados en la calle. Yo le llamo mercados o supermercados, no sé cómo sea. Acá. Pero en Barcelona, Guatemala, tenemos ambos. Tenemos mercados que son como que de agricultores, que son cosas muy frescas, que lo cosechan ellos mismos y lo van a vender a un lugar específico.
In the US, we call this like a farmer's market.
Yeah,
For him, it's literally
sería
normal.
como mercado de granja, podría ser literalmente, pero sí es mercado. Nosotros le llamamos mercado, se puede entender por mercado. Puedes ir, encuentras de todo, todos los días. La gente, bueno, por ejemplo en la ciudad donde yo vivía, la gente empezaba a vender desde las 6 de la mañana, querías ir hasta las 6 de la mañana o hasta las 5 de la tarde. Todo el día puedes encontrar lo que querías, fresca, fruta fresca,
It's amazing.
muy fresca y no es caro, pues bueno, la vida, bueno, depende de donde vivas. En la ciudad de Guatemala es un poquito más cara. Yo he vivido aquí, pero más de 2 semanas y mucho, pero sí es más cara. Pero también puedes encontrar mercados, pero en la ciudad que yo vengo, que es un poquito, el nombre es raro, que se llama Huehuetenango.
Huehuetenango.
Ya, yo vivía ahí, pues era muy pequeño. Era todo muy barato en comparación aquí en España o Alemania o Hungría, donde yo he podido visitar y sí es caro por el tipo de cambio. Pero en Guate era todo súper barato. Ahora me doy cuenta, era súper todo barato.
Yeah, it's crazy because in the US we have things like this, the markets, fresh markets, where farmers bring in fresh ingredients, vegetables, honeys, everything like super fresh. But the thing is though, it's like a novelty sort of thing in the US that they have them only on the weekends and they're super expensive.
Entonces,
super expensive.
No, en Guate puedes encontrar todos los días. Hay un día en especial, por ejemplo en la ciudad que yo vengo, un día en especial, que es el día jueves, que llevan cosas de todo llega es como que, no sé, es todo, mucha gente, hay gente que viene tiene que manejar 4 horas por llegar a vender cosas, por ir a comprar cosas, porque ese día encuentras de todo literal.
It's super cool.
Si vamos a Guate, vamos a hacer un video, vamos a enseñar cómo es allá, encuentras de todo.
Yeah.
Y es súper barato, con 10 euros puedes comprar para literalmente 4 o 5 días, no, 4 días, no, 4 días, comprar con 10 euros, que aproximadamente son como 195 quetzales. En Guate se manejan quetzales.
Oh, that's super cool. Because I feel like in the US, like we have a lot of huge supermarkets, like they're super large. Like the ones that here in Spain are pretty okay. They're like maybe a quarter of the size of ours, which I think is more natural. Honestly, I kind of hated grocery shopping in the US because they're super huge, so it's almost overwhelming. Like if you want to buy a jam, okay, there's 20 varieties of jam.
God.
And so you're just trying to pick out the best price, which one is the healthiest, which one has the best sugar, which flavor tastes good. You're like thinking of too many factors and it is so stressful, but it's just for one jam. But imagine if you had a grocery list, like it always takes me hours and it's just like it's too stressful. So you have to find a brand that you like. I think that most of the grocery store is like not real food, it's like packaged food. And so like the actual section for produce is really small. And not only that, but like even the produce that they do have isn't like organic or whatever. Maybe like they use preservantes and like chemicals or wax por la fruta to make it look super shiny or beautiful. So it's like even if you do buy good, it's like una mierda. It's still really shitty food, even if you try to eat healthy. And I think that's the really sad part about the food culture in the US when it comes to grocery shopping like this, you know? So I think my favorite thing about living in Europe is the food quality. Like there's so many foods that I really didn't like until I moved here to Spain. Like only because like the flavor is so much better, it's so much more fresh. It's like there's a big difference in the food quality and like things I just don't have to worry about. Even in carnes, like the production of our meats and things there are just not so good. But like here in Spain, it's super cool because like for example in the supermercados we can do a video of like a guía, like a tour of like qué es adentro, like. And they have fresh mercados similar son en Guatemala, las tiendas en Guatemala, like los mercados de allá. And then also like they have a mezcla, un combinación de los supermercados because of our influence in the US, like here as well, like Moder, like, but at the same time it's a lot more expensive because of these marcas, like if you want more packaged items like sauces and this sort of thing. But inside those grocery stores there's always like a giant orange press machine, which I think is super weird. When I first walked in a grocery store I'm like, what is this? Yeah.
¿Qué es esto? Para ustedes, ¿qué es esto? Le dice naranja, what?
Es una naranja. Yeah, I always say little oranges. That's what I call them, little oranges.
La mandarina.
It's a mandarina, sí.
Mandarin.
But to be honest, like I said, okay, this is my point. Like in the US, like at least for me growing up, like I couldn't taste the difference between an orange and a mandarina. I always just thought they taste igual. But now, like I can actually be like, oh yeah, this has a different flavor. I understand. Okay, this is a mandarin, you know. This is it. But like things like this,
es muy diferente. Una mandarina y una naranja, el sabor es muy diferente.
Súper diferente. Sorry.
El color depende.
Okay, it's an orange. It's a little orange. And then ¿qué más? Oh, the giant legs of jamón. That's super weird for me. I've never seen that in my life. Like they have carniceria, like a fresh, like if you want to carve something.
It's not my favorite thing, but it's good.
No, yeah, okay, so se llama jamón ibérico, no? And it's like, it's cured pig, and they love like the ham and things like things here. So they'll like cure it for different time periods to give it different flavor. They'll also do like beef as well. Like they'll do hamburguesas también.
Yeah, kind of
like fermentados or curados? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, curados.
Yeah. And I think that's super different.
For me, it's different. So I'm not gonna eat like too much meat. But it's kind of good.
I mean, tampoco.
You need to try it.
Yeah, try it because
if you come here in Spain,
you have to try it. You have to try it only because it's the only thing you'll find here. Like if you go to
like es como que algo traditional.
Comida. That's another thing that's super weird. Okay, so if you come from the US, you come from a montón de opciones. You have like options for anything you want. If you want Thai food, if you want Japanese food, if you want Korean food, Italian, pizza, literally anything you want, you can find a store. Greek, Indian food, literally any food that you want, you can find it kind of close to get whatever you want. Here, every single store, I don't know how these stores stay in business. First off, it must be the hospitality or something, but every single store or bar sells the exact same menu. I can name it off because every menu has the same. They always have the same bocadillos, which are sandwiches.
They have bocadillo.
They have fuet, jamón ibérico, jamón serrano, jamón y queso, una bikini, atún.
Otra cosa muy rara para
tortilla,
mí. Una tortilla. Cuando me dicen
frambuesa.
Tortilla, así como quieres una tortilla, así como que sí, quiero una tortilla. Yo emocionado y vi era un huevo.
Es un huevo, yeah. Una tortilla de España es like es un huevo. It's like it's literally like a fritada. That's literally what it is. Basically, scramble the eggs, you put it in a pan, and then you bake it, or like you cook it that way so it has that shape. And then here in Spain, okay, they put potatoes in it, and then maybe some onion or whatever. But literally, it's just a fritada. That's really what it is. But that's the tortilla de aquí in España.
Yeah.
Española. Like this. Wow, her jacket was really cool. So yeah, every restaurant has the exact same menu, and I'm like, how do y'all stay in business? Like the guy next door is selling the exact same stuff.
I get it, it's good, but so much for me.
Literally. So like sometimes if you crave something else, it's a little sad because literally all I have is like ham and cheese. But if you're vegan,
oh my,
you're gonna struggle here. You're gonna struggle here. You're gonna struggle here. You're gonna struggle here. If you're vegan, man, that's something. It's gonna be a little hard for you. No lie, because everybody eats ham and cheese here like it's going out of style. Like they just invented it. Like yesterday, the guy cut the ham, and they were like, "Wow, this is a new thing. Bienvenido," and everybody eats it like every day. no shade, okay? Like the food here is good, and what they do, I give you that. The food here is so simple and super basic, but what they do here is super good. What they do is super good. The paella is good. This is not a rumor. It's not like a trending of like come visit Spain for the paella. No, literal fucking comfort, just the paella. It's super good.
So yummy.
Don't buy it anywhere touristy though. Don't buy it anywhere. You have to go to.
You wanna pay for something good, a little expensive, but do it.
Yeah.
¿Cómo se dice vale la pena?
It's worth the pain. It's worth the pain.
Vale la pena.
Yeah. And also, another thing, when you're in Spain and you get the paella, know that on the menu, it's double the price when you get a rice. Because they always serve it in two, but they don't always tell you that. They only tell, they don't tell the locals because the locals know, you know? So if you're new, they're not going to tell, oftentimes they don't tell you because they just assume that you're going to know. And I made that mistake the first time and my other friends too. So if you're literally new, the rice always comes in two. So normally it's kind of pricey for the rice, like you said. So maybe 30 euro for a rice, it's always double. So it's 60 euro, or like if it's 50, it's 100 euro. Know that it's always in a matter of two people, just so you know. That's a really good tip because I feel like we all made that mistake at first because we're like, oh yeah, yo quiero un paella, but it's like, no, it's por dos personas. Like,
una paella.
Yeah, una paella, and you always pay double.
No salió el doble.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Good to know. I think that's it for now, no?
That's it for now.
The sun left us, and it's getting cold.
Freezing.
It's kind of freezing. Anything else that you want to say to the people?
Nos vemos en la próxima.
Yeah, see you next time. Bye. You're so late.